Hi there. Welcome to my no down dog, very little hand support flow. This is for anyone with aggravated wrists or shoulders or elbows, or maybe you had an arm day yesterday and you need a break. So it's also my New Year's Eve metal flow because I got the Judas Priest shirt on. I'm wearing a lot of black. It's not like me. I'm normally all in color. So good thing I'm recording this because it's a rare moment. We're going to start on our back. I'm going to recommend that you have blocks, but paperback books that are pretty thick can work too. You can use really anything that has a flat edge. So a towel on a large soup can. I'm just throwing out all the things I used to do before I purchased my own set of blocks. We're going to work a lot on our back, and we're going to work a lot on our feet. So I normally don't recommend socks for yoga. I just feel like I can't feel the ground. But while I'm on my back, I'm going to wear them because I'm a little chilly. So you can do what you like. I'm going to start with the breath on our back today. So I like to incorporate a very active breath. You can take it or leave it. One hand below the navel, one hand somewhere around the heart. If you don't like having your elbows float in space, your blocks make fantastic elbow support, right? So here we go. The inhale goes down the body. So feel the top hand inflate first, and then the bottom hand. And when I talk about inflation, I don't mean all in the front of your body. Feel the back of your body expand, okay, down into the waistline. See if you can create a little bit of space, the tiniest push down the body. All right, a little eliminative push, but very tiny. We're not like going full on, like we're trying to pee here while we're laying on our backs. See if you can create a little space down in that dark area of your body. It does get compressed quite a bit from sitting poorly and just from gravity in general. Just focus on the inhale. Use the nostrils if you can, so you don't bypass all these very important processes that occur during inhalation through the nose. Produce more nitrous oxide. That will help absorb oxygen. Most people know the nose is a filtration system, and inhaling through the mouth can trigger a fight or flight response, which is what we like to preferably avoid, since we're often almost constantly in that state anywho. Check in with your hand in the middle by the solar plexus too. See if you can feel the breath travel through there. And just think of it as a little wind column, like your spine at the middle of a column of air. And you're just trying to create a little bit of space, push down a little bit of pressure into the abdominal cavity, below the navel, to the pelvic diaphragm. Now focus on the exhale. So when you exhale, we're going to start by lifting a little bit in the pelvic floor. So pretend like there's a pit in your pelvis, like a little seed. Inhale, let the seed push down just gently, very, very gently, imperceptibly so. Now when you exhale, lift the seed into the body and bring it up that wind column. See if you can activate as many muscles as possible on the way out the throat and nose. You may not be able to access much, or you may be over-accessing. But like anything, it's a practice. When you inhale, too, you may feel that, the chest lifts a little bit, right? Heart lifts up a little bit towards my crown, and the lumbar spine, although I'm trying to create expansion in all directions, the lumbar spine gets a little of its natural curve back, right? So we're not looking for an over curve, just a natural curve. And then the exhale with the lifting, either side of the spine, backs and front. You're going to get a little flattening of the curves, just a little. We're not looking for an over pushing out or anything to that degree. All right, now when you inhale, let the heart rise. Maybe release the hands from your body. Exhale, press the feet into the ground. Activate your inner thighs, but not the glutes. Then pull the seat up from your pelvis. Lift it to your navel. See if you can lift your butt by accessing the front body and leaving the back body mostly alone. And then as you inhale, stay at the top, press into your feet, let the heart lift. Exhale, feet, inner thighs, pelvic floor, navel, come down one vertebra at a time. Maybe you take the tail down last. Maybe it has to come down first. Inhale to rest, to prepare. Exhale to initiate the movement. You may not be used to moving this way where exhales initiate most of the movement. And the inhale is the pause and the lengthening of the spine in a different way. And the opening of the heart. But just play with me today, and if you don't like it, you get to do your own thing. Alright, on your next inhale, let the heart rise. Lumbar curve lifts. Exhale, through the pelvic area, sweep the front low spine, bring the knees into your chest. Lift the hands to the sky like you're going to high five your ceiling. On an inhale, bring the soles of your feet together if you can rotate that way, maybe just the inner feet. Exhale, draw a little lifting of the tail, a little coiling of your low tail. Maybe the knees come towards the arms, maybe they don't, right? Don't overdo it. Inhale, let the spine go flat. Exhale, curl the low belly up and in. Maybe the knees go up. So I'm feeling a little pinching in my spine. So what that tells me is I need to press my feet in together and start activating my inner thighs from my core. There we go, pinching is gone. So remember to activate your feet, even when they're not on the ground. Activate the feet, low belly, inner thighs. Inner thighs really activate the core. There we go, that's better. Next time you exhale, lift a little bit in the low belly, but take your hands forward. Maybe grab your ankles or thread your hands in between the legs and grab your ankles from the outside. Pull the feet in for a little Pada Galavasana. If your head doesn't like this position, try lengthening through the back of the neck and drawing the chin in. If it still doesn't work, put your head down. Breathe here. The exhale, you'll see a little lifting of the tailbone, just a tiny bit. And the reason the tailbone's lifting is because I'm activating all the muscles down in that pelvic region, and I'm continuing to lift the muscles up the body. Like two little zippers right on either side of my spine. Alright, inhale, release. Legs as straight as you can comfortably go. Be careful of the hammies. Hands can float, little fists, or they can come down by your side. And then there's the happy medium, which is out in a T. So I'm going to float my arms here. I'm going to press the shoulder blades as I inhale. When I exhale, I'm going to draw the low belly up and then in and drop the feet about 6 inches. And inhale, pause. Exhale, squeeze the inner thighs and drop. So that zipper comes from your inner feet all the way up the thighs, right to where they meet the body. Bend the legs when this gets too crampy on the low back. My low back's still flat. The second it starts to pop out, I'd have to bend my knees. It just so happens it didn't pop up. Inhale, lift the arms. And then exhale, lifting through the low belly. Draw up, maybe give yourself a hug. Come back, that didn't work for you. Take the hands down by your side. And don't be afraid to do a little bit of this, right? Cross your legs, stretch, take it side to side. So as I'm transferring my weight from one hand to the other and lifting, and I'm pulling one shoulder in, that's the light-handed shoulder, the one that's not really pressing. And then the other, I'm trying to keep sort of equal weight between my sit bones. So I'm trying not to lift up too much. So you may not be able to go so low. Remember, whatever I'm doing is just kind of a loose guide. Your body's going to look different, most likely. Now I'm going to make circles. As I inhale, I'm going to sweep the heart forward. And as I exhale, I'm going to lift the low belly so it kind of pulls and lengthens the spine. Then I'm going to come back. So picture that your navel could like right up to the left, like in a rainbow over to the right. And then I'm going to reverse direction. Exhale, inhale. And although maybe you can hear the breath, you don't have to exaggerate that. That's more for your benefit. I'm normally a fairly silent breather. Inhale, come back. Maybe you rock and roll, maybe not, right? If you have any back issues, a lot of people with scoliosis don't like rocking and rolling, and so don't do it. You may want to come to your feet. If you can stand, great. Otherwise, you're going to take your legs out to the side, find a way to the front, step back with your left foot, take blocks. So this is the most hand support you're going to get today. Pull up my pants. It's the most hand support you're going to use. If at any point it becomes uncomfortable, you can take finger pads or ridge tops. Just don't overdo the ridge tops. If your wrists chronically hurt, you may want to find out why, instead of just babying them all the time, because it could be something serious and something fixable too. Alright, so the blocks here are optional, and you can put them anywhere along the path. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do without the blocks. So as I inhale, kind of draw the heart forward and press the front hip crease, the right hip crease back. But I'm not hanging into my hips, I'm actually pressing into my front foot and my back shin. I'm trying to keep this along the back of my neck. And then as I exhale, I'm going to scissor the legs in, lift the belly away from the hip crease, and try to rise up without hand support. Notice I do this with a slightly straightened spine, and I can inhale to the top. That may not be your path, so let's try this. So continue with that if you like. That your strength was fine for that. Otherwise, inhale, exhale, scissor the legs in like you're trying to close them up. Lift the belly, and then walk back as far as you can. Inhaling at the top, just like on the floor. The inhale lifts the heart, low back gets to breathe a little, and then the exhale draws you forward. Inhale, pause, press down, activate those legs, exhale, scissor, lift the belly like someone's got a little string, maybe pull back one, maybe one arm rises, exhale. As I exhale, I'm pulling back the right hip crease. So I'm stretching out of my pelvis. My pelvis isn't coming with me. A couple more times. Inhale, press down. Exhale, a little scissor. That activates the inner thighs, so then the low belly can start to fire up. You should create a lot of heat. All right, your next one. As you exhale up to start, inhale. Your choice. Now watch your knees. After the inhale, I exhale and I lift. And I want to draw this right inner thigh into my body so I can actually balance. And then I come back and stretch. You may need the blocks. Heck, I need the blocks half the time. I'm a little surprised they did that. And then inhale. Exhale. Maybe they come back. All right, inhale. It's so important that I draw the front leg into the body and activate my little psoas muscles there. You gotta have that mula bandha, a little bit of it. You don't have to have a ton, but you gotta have that lifting here. If I don't lift, this is what happens. I'm activating absolutely nothing except my hamstring because it had to. So the more muscles you're able to integrate from the core the deep core, the more balance you're able to have. It's kind of like a life, right? The more you're able to access your true motivations and feelings and desires, the easier things tend to become, despite those things happening outside of us. Anyways, so from here, if the knee gets really like junky, you could always put something underneath it. I like to fold up my mat when it starts to feel kind of yucky. Alrighty. Now from here, I'm going to curl the back toe. So a lot of us would get off the back knee by using primarily legs and hip flexors and maybe even a little low back. We're going to try to access deep core muscles and more inner thigh, which is part of your core. So as you inhale, you press down. And again, I'm going to deepen that right hip crease just a little bit so I'm not like hanging into my hip, not jamming myself on my hip. And then when I exhale, I'm going to lift the belly first. That rises, and then the back leg can rise with some help from its friends. You can come into a pyramid if your legs are okay with that, or just find the lunge. So as you inhale, offer the heart. Still have a pressing down of the feet. Don't let all the gravity come into the center of your body. Exhale, belly, straighten the legs a little or a lot. Remember, I'm kind of hyper flexible in the hamstrings, and even I have to be careful. So if your legs only straighten from your core first, and they only go here, then that's your spot. And then you can inhale, try to draw a little bit of that front sit bone back. You don't have to have straight legs in this world. You can come back and forth. As long as your movement's coming from the center and rising up to the heart, and you feel those legs activating, pressing down to ground, and then drawing in to balance. All right, at this point your legs may be a little tired, so you can come down, find your way to the front of your mat, or take your hands forward. Inhale, right? Roll the elbows down, offer the heart. Exhale, lift from the belly, the back leg. Come into a warrior three. Supported or not, left hand, right hand. Make sure that your front knee is over your toe, and then you may need to squiggle your outer hip back. Again, pulling the hip crease into the body more to make sure that you have alignment there. When you're ready, come to stand. And just chill. You could have skipped that warrior three, two, and just step forward. No biggie. No biggie. All right, so I'm not a big fan of a lot of linear motion and action, both for personal and anatomical reasons. So I'm going to sweep the arms up in front, and then let them come down soft in the elbows. And then we'll sweep the other arm in front, so I'm not doing the same arm every time. Just warming up a little bit. And this is how you get your arm workout here. So the exhale takes it down. And I'm trying not to lock out my legs when I stand. When I lock out my legs, they bend backwards. You may not have that issue, but nonetheless, I do want to have that feeling of the muscles themselves contracting onto the boneses rather than just a bunch of weight leaning bone to bone. And if your arms are getting tired, that's fine. If there's anything crunchy, funky in the shoulders, maybe the range of motion changes and it doesn't go so high. Don't worry, I'll have a head again in about a minute. You can do this with your eyes closed. Maybe you sit back in a chair. Come up to your tippy toes, right? Exhale, sit back in the chair. Notice how my knees don't go away in front of my toes. Notice how when I come up to my tippy toes, my pelvis doesn't pitch forward because I'm zipping through the inner thighs. using that lifting of the pit of the pelvis. Okay, one more time. Inhale. Pause on your tippy toes if you can. You can't see my arms, but I don't ever have them parallel to one another because my shoulders don't like that. Roll your pinky edges of your arms and hands in as much as you comfortably can. Take the hands to the heart. Fold softly. Let's do the other leg now, shall we? Step the right foot back. Just be thankful you're not a spider. We'd be here forever. All right. Again, soften the knee if you need, and feel free to curl this toe under. Okay. So as we inhale, we ground. We know this part. As you exhale, a little scissoring, a little lifting. And maybe take things back. So when you ground and you inhale, you should be kind of setting both hips to be relatively square. So if you had a laser beam shooting out of your frontal hip points, they'd be pointing the same direction. So a lot of times we tend to forget about the back leg in these asymmetrical poses. Inhale, press. Now as you exhale, scissor in and press into that back foot as you lift the low belly up and in. Inhale, release, but continue to press. So there's always activation. It just happens in different directions. Right? The inhale kind of grounds you. So you actively ground, and the exhale draws the energy into the body. And you're welcome to play with different breath. So from here, I'm going to come forward. Remember this part here. Maybe this feels really delicious to stay here for a bit. Or you can come back to this position. Feel free to pop that foot up if you want to. This side's really difficult for me because I forgot to press my back foot of the right side into here. And I also have kind of weak left inner thighs. So when I go to ignite those, it takes a lot more mental effort. I just tell you these things because you might be experiencing something similar. Remember, this always activates first. If I don't move from there, there's no way I'd make it back here. So move those blocks as much as you need to. What I'm doing could be something you work up to, or it could be easy, right? And then maybe you're like, I can lift the leg. All right, taking it down. Throw the back toe. Exhale, scissor lift. And then find your pyramid. So I didn't tell you this on the other side, for which I apologize. But you can always exhale, give a little puff, stepping forward if you need to. No problem. And as you do this, check with your left outer hip, in fact your whole left outer thigh. Make sure you don't have this swaying of the pelvis over to the left. See if there's like parallel lines between your outer hip and outer knee with the edge of your mat. And again, don't straighten the legs if that's not good for you. Stretching in the belly of the muscle is great, but stretching up at the attachment points, way by the sit bones or the knees, usually not so good. All right, next inhale, you can come down and rest if you need to. Or you could just inhale, lift the heart, soften, roll the elbows back, exhale from the belly. Warrior 3. Softening the standing leg, knees and toes point the same direction. You may even take your left thumb into your left hip crease and sort of deepen it and roll it back. Right hand first, left hand second. Maybe play with pointing the back foot. Inhale, exhale here. Don't forget to breathe. And again, you could have skipped this and stepped forward. Here I go, stepping forward. Ta-da! And you can just sort of move things around a bit here. Wiggle your hips. Okay, let's go down to our backs. Stretch it out a bit, shall we? So from here, figure 4, right leg crossed over left. You may or may not be able to do this. This could be it. This could be the magic place. Let's take it in. Try to keep the sacrum flat, so if your low back below the waistline is way off the ground, you may need to step back on this. If you want to practice your flying pigeon, you can high five the sky, and then when you exhale, do what we did earlier, lifting through the low belly. A little curling of the tail is going to happen. You may even cradle the front foot. All right, so the crook of your left elbow into your pinky blade of your right foot and press into it. Don't just let the foot start to sickle. Press into your crook of your ankle. Maybe not. Hold this as long as you comfortably can. And then let go. You may want to take that first position, a little supine bound angle. You may even feel, if you can keep the sacrum relatively flat, inhale, lift the heart. You don't have to be grabbing your feet like for this. You can just have your arms free. And then as you exhale, a lifting inner thigh, low belly, ribs, and then reach the legs out. This might be as straight as they go. You might go a little bit wider. Again, be mindful of where those stretches in the backs of your legs. Maybe go side to side. Take the feet down, cross left leg over right. You may go right to this figure 4 shape. So for me, I would stay here longer before I went and I did the pretend flying pigeon on my back. Now I take the hands up. Inhale, let things open, exhale, conserve my energy. And I may even take the crook of the right elbow. You can see my foot better here. Maybe you can't, but a lot of times the foot collapses because you let the arm win, but you're going to press the foot into your bicep like you're stomping on it. Okay? And then ta-da! Dun, dun, dun. Take it back. Maybe get some extra stretch here. And then come in here. Taking the legs apart. Perhaps happy baby is in your cards now. Shins parallel to one another and then perpendicular to the floor, ideally. But some people are going to be here for a long time or way out here, or even in here. You know, so just do your best. Cross right leg over left as high up on the leg as you can. So if you're particularly fleshy or really like crunchy, compressy in the inner thigh, just be gentle. You don't have to cross so high. I'm going to go for Gomukhasana here. So this could be the extent of it, where the sacrum's flat, and there should be this widening at the seat. Or you could take shins and pull them away from one another. Some people can even grab their outer feet. Same idea, you want to stomp and press into your hands so your outer ankles are not super stretching. It's not what we're going for here. This can get really intense. Sometimes mentally, this particular stretch, I feel, for me and a lot of people from their feedback, is that although it feels good, there's this like nervousness and this anxiety to just get out of this stretch. And this is really opening up a lot of those areas where we unconsciously clench and close up and hold muscle tension patterns from fear and being scared, from feeling anything, any threat to us, to our survival. So that's why I feel like part of it, and also because we just don't stretch these areas very much. like the low back, the muscles, the sides of the hips. You're probably done with this pose. Me, I could stay here forever. It didn't used to be that way, right? Make circles with your knees. Want a little core work? Sure you do. Take your knees on top of your hips. Try to get your shins parallel to the floor and then flex your feet like you're stepping in a wall. Take your hands, press your legs away. Now when you inhale, you might notice, you inhale down the body, you might notice you feel a little weak in the legs. Well now, exhale, squeeze the legs together. Remember that zipper up into the low belly, pelvic floor. Now the legs get strong. Inhale. Great space. Exhale. Get strong. Just feel how much stronger your legs get just by virtue of using the inner thighs into the pelvis, lifting Mula Bandha all the way up into Uddiyana Bandha, right? You might like this, you might hate it. I don't know, it's not a big deal. It's only like, what, a minute of your life? Let's do 3 more. One more. Ta-da! Okay, let's do the other side. Left, oh, maybe you want to do this first. Okay, left leg over right now. So remember, you cross as high as you can. And I'm holding here. So try to keep this hold as long as you can, provided knees and hips are pretty happy. It's okay if they're not happy. Anything that opens up the hips and the lower part of your body by the glutes and thighs and back can be very uncomfortable. You're essentially counteracting the sitting that you do, but you're also opening up areas that tend to be very closed off. Like we're always wearing pants around the hips and the waistline, you know, where the belt is on our pants, or just the elastic. And we tend to always be told to, you know, cover your butt and keep your legs together and all that stuff. So there's a lot of stigma around these areas, and we don't have a tendency to, for instance, you could come out, feel free to just open your legs, right? Or stick your butt out a little bit. And then you can make little circles here. So when you're done with this, you have an option. You may want to take one arm balance, right? If that's your practice. If it's not your practice, you can skip right through to the Shavasana. All I'm going to do here is offer an arm balance. So this class was for people that, you know, didn't really want a lot of hand support, but if you feel like you have it in you, you can come to a chair in the middle, right, and take this. So what if you don't want to arm balance, but you want this stretch and this strength? Great, let's take the right foot up. Now my seat is going to be pretty wide, just like it was when I was laying on the floor. I don't want to like round here. That's not my goal. I would like something neutral. Inhale, widen the seat. Exhale, lift. Little coiling, tiny bit. Not a lot. I don't want to tuck the tailbone under entirely. That often gets misinterpreted too. So, okay, so this could be it. This could be your magic spot. You could even have your butt in a wall right now. Totally cool. You could have blocks here. You could have blocks here. You can arm balance with your hands on the blocks, by the way. Notice how I'm sticking my butt back more and I'm not leaning forward quite yet. I'm going to snuggle things here, and then I'm going to curl my tops of my right toes around my left arm. And I'm going to come forward And then I do that little exhale, lift the low belly. Inhale, let the heart lift forward. Exhale, extend the legs. I'm protecting the low back. And I'm just going to breathe here. Every time I inhale, I try to stretch the heart forward. Every time I exhale, I'm coiling things in towards the midline. Then I'll come back. You cannot do this if you want to come back here and try to work on a little balance. All right, so the more I draw things in to the midline, I'm feeling the hamstring activate, and that's the extent of that for me. How about a neutral pose? Pastorito, Parantanasana. Would you like to interlace your fingers and release? Go ahead. Keep the knees as bent as you want, even going side to side. If a wide-legged forward bend without hand support makes you kind of skittish, take your hands underneath, maybe to blocks. Then we'll do the other side. Sounds spiffy? Of course it does. All right. You can stay there longer if you want. Left leg. So again, I want to feel a wideness, but not a looseness. I can't be loose here if I sit back. There's going to be some activation. If I start to pull this right knee forward, then I start to lose that. That's what I get for looking at you. Falling over. That's okay. I don't mind falling because it reminds me to stay present. Right? So all those moments that you're afraid of happening, like falling on your face in crow or falling over in tree, it's almost like we're afraid of staying present, because the minute we start to lose balance, we have to be so super focused. We have to save ourselves. So that's why I think finding those moments of fear are very healthy, controlled moments of fear if you can. At least in a yoga class, right? All right, let's take it down. So maybe here you can see I curl the toes around for the little toesies, and then I come forward, inhale. See how the heart lifts and reaches forward. Exhale, contain myself. Inhale, settle a little bit into that arm. Exhale. And my body's going to continue to make these little movements while I'm balancing. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's a little more skillful than the first time I ever did flying pigeon, where I was so surprised. I think I might have forgotten to breathe, which is totally normal. So I got to lift up here. This foot's a little bit better because it's my right foot. All right, guys, are you done? Because I'm pretty much done. So for me, I've got some work to do when it comes to supported bridge. That's what I feel is the counteraction to the arm balance. If you skip the arm balance, then you're here. Yay. Supported bridge. I see a lot of very well practiced yogis in classes skip supported bridge as though there's something about it that's just, I don't know, not skillful enough. It's hard to say, but I'm going to tell you right now, supported bridge is pretty darn awesome. And I'll go a little higher, like on a day like today, I feel a little more loose, but you have to be careful. There's any crunching here. And if you have to activate your glutes to get your butt that high and you can't relax them, then just go lower. It's really not worth it. I like to turn my toes in here because I do have some crankiness in the low back and the joint back there. And it's okay to go a little bit back and forth here. You can even take hands underneath, snuggle your arm bones underneath, and like sort of pull the spine off the floor, but continue to press the shoulders back into the ground. Some people interlace their fingers here. That's totally an option. I'm going to go for a psoas stretch. I'm going to sneak my left foot away from the right, kind of like you might if you were getting out of bed with somebody and you didn't want to wake them up, so super slow and sneaky, and then the right knee could come up, and if this is too aggravating, but you want to still try it, take your left foot back where it was and then take the right foot up. Sneaking away. Some people can grab the knee. If you can't, don't feel deprived. It's really not a big deal. But press the left foot, whatever part of your foot's touching the ground firmly. So if it's straight or straight-ish, so you can pull the toes towards you. It's not necessary to pull it towards you. In fact, I like pointing the toe here because that elongates more. But I still press the heel into the floor. And then stretching the left arm to the sky just gives an extra dimension. Taking your arm over your head so your forearm touches the crown. Try not to let your chin collapse into your chest here. Continue to press the right shoulder blade into the ground and the left as well. And then breathe into your left side body like there's just a balloon on the left side of your body. It goes all the way down into your butt cheeks, all the way in the front of your hips, maybe even down your left leg. The right knee could come out to the side, but be very careful about that low back. Don't just dump it out to the side. Lift the belly a little bit into the ribs and then take it out. Right? I'm not going to do that today. I don't think it's really going to benefit me. All right? Now the left knee comes in. I'm going to sneak the right foot away ever so surreptitiously. And I take the left knee, and then my left knee comes in a little bit easier. I'm going to point the right foot just for the stretch, but I'm still pressing the heel in, so my hamstring's certainly activating. Right arm stretches overhead. Take the arm at a 90-degree angle, and I'm even going to lift my right armpit a little bit higher than my left shoulder. Breathe into the right side body like it's just one long balloon all the way down to the tips of your toenails. Continue to open up some space in the muscles and your tissues with that breath. And then when you're ready, you can take it down or you can try and stretch both legs. I'm going to have to say that when you roll the inner thighs down a little bit towards the floor, continue to press the knees and then feel the zippers lightly zip up right to about here. If you go too far, the low back starts to crunch, so just be very mindful. And again, this block can be non-existent at this point, right? All right, all done, all done. So from here, there's a Shavasana waiting for you, most likely. Take a few minutes. Some people have trouble staying in Shavasana when it's not guided. So I say count to 20 breaths. If you still want to stay in without counting. If you want to get up, slowly get up. I'm going to take a wheel because that's in my practice. I'm going to flip the hands over, take the feet in pretty close, and then what I do is I press down into the inner feet a little bit more strongly. That's what I do. If you have a particularly flexy low back, if your low back's kind of tight, I say take the feet a little bit wider than hip width and take the toes pointing forward. But for me, I'll dump into my low back. And then what I do is just in the beginning of practice, we inhale, we lifted the heart. I'm going to pull the elbows in so the upper arms are parallel. And then as I exhale, I'm going to come to that bridge pose, right? So I'm lifting, I'm using inner thighs, low belly. My glutes are hardly engaging, just what I need. Inhale one more time, press, ground your fingers, feet, hands, toes. Not so much the toes, but you get the idea. And then next time you exhale, activate the inner thigh, lift the low belly. And then inhale at the top here into your heart. Try to keep the low belly lifted, but you've already set your body up to be fairly bandha-ized, I guess you could call it. You can stay here a little while, but I'm going to come down. I recommend taking the knees in first, side to side action. Knees wide. and in, and then knees closed. I always find that the second wheel is better than the first. It's up to you. Flip, press, press in, exhale, lift, press down, exhale, draw in the energy, lift the belly. There we go. Trying to press into the inner feet for me, drawing the elbows in. And there we go. And I just realized I kept my socks on the whole time. Don't think I want to do that again. Alright, so Shavasana awaits you. Walk through a wonderful tool. There's something you need to do prior to finding this position. You are at liberty to do so. Otherwise, take your time. 20 breaths, 5 minutes, or just fall asleep. And just know that whatever you came to the mat with today, in this moment, doesn't matter whether you did everything, whether you just could do half or a quarter of it. The practice is not supposed to be perfect. That's why it's called a practice. So just enjoy the fact that you rolled out your mat, you moved your body, and you probably learned a thing or two. So just chill out and let that brain shut off. Put it away, flip the switch, and sink into the floor into your Shavasana.